Ever feel like you're stuck? You know, like you're capable of way more but can't quite, I don't know.
Tap into it.
Yeah, like you're stuck in low gear or something.
I know the feeling.
Well, today's deep dive, it might just hold the key, you know. We're going deep into the Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
Ah, fascinating.
It's this ancient text, and it's all about unlocking your hidden potential. Now,
Hold on. Before you picture,
monks on a mountain.
yeah, like twisting themselves into pretzels.
Right, exactly.
We need to clarify.
We've got our expert here
Yes.
to break down what Hatha Yoga is really all about.
Exactly. It's not about, contorting your body into some impossible pretzel. Hatha Yoga, at its core, it seeks to harmonize. It's about the energies within us. The sun and moon, the masculine and feminine, represented by Ha and Tha. And it's about, creating that balance within, which then allows us to, access these higher states of awareness and potential.
So it's less about like renouncing the world and more about optimizing ourselves.
Precisely. In fact, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika even suggests that with 12 years, just 12 years of dedicated practice,
12 years?
one can achieve siddhi.
Siddhi. Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, what does that even mean?
Siddhi, essentially it means mastery, perfection. It's about realizing your full potential. And while 12 years might seem like a long time, just think about how long we spend pursuing, other forms of mastery.
Right, a career, learning an instrument.
Exactly, whether it's a career, a skill, anything. Hatha Yoga just applies that same dedication to unlocking the potential within.
Okay, I like that perspective. Now, I've heard whispers about this text being shrouded in secrecy.
Oh.
Something about like revealing the practices diminishes their power or something.
It does have an air of mystery, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
While we won't be revealing any closely guarded secrets today,
Okay.
we'll definitely unpack enough to satisfy that curiosity.
Awesome. So let's talk about how it all works. The text emphasizes three key practices: asana, pranayama, and mudra bandha. Starting with asana, I think most people, when they hear that, they think yoga postures, right?
You're right, yeah. Asana does refer to physical postures, but these postures, they're much more than just stretching. According to the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, each asana, it stimulates specific energy channels, these are called nadis, and energy centers, known as chakras.
Like a whole, I don't know, intricate energetic network within us.
Exactly. For instance, Mayurasana, the peacock pose. This is believed to stimulate digestion.
Yeah.
Then you have Paschimottanasana, the seated forward bend, and that's said to enhance energy flow throughout the entire body.
And the text, it specifically calls out Kurmasana, the tortoise pose, as beneficial for, well, everyone, celibates, non-celibates alike.
It's like the ancients, they were really onto something with this whole directing energy thing, huh?
Indeed. And this idea of directing energy, that brings us to our next pillar, pranayama, which I'm guessing involves more than just taking a few deep breaths.
Absolutely. Pranayama, it delves into the control, the manipulation of prana, our life force energy, through specific breathing techniques. It's about purifying and strengthening those subtle energy channels, those nadis we talked about earlier.
This is where things get really interesting. The text, it talks about something called breath dominance.
Yes.
How one nostril might be like more open than the other.
Right.
And how that relates to our like mental states. It mentions Ida and Pingala. Have you heard of those?
That's right. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika describes Ida Nadi and Pingala Nadi as these two primary energy channels intricately connected to our breath. Ida, it's linked to the left nostril. It's associated with this cooling lunar energy, calmness, introspection. Then Pingala, connected to the right nostril, this one represents solar energy, warmth, dynamism, action.
So when one nostril is dominant, it's like a subtle indication of which energy is like more active within us.
Precisely.
Hold on. Is this ancient wisdom actually hinting at like the left and right hemispheres of the brain?
It's a fascinating connection, isn't it?
It really is.
And while the Hatha Yoga Pradipika predates modern neurology, its observations about breath dominance and its effects on our mental state, it resonates remarkably well with what we know about brain hemispheres.
Makes you wonder what other secrets are kind of just hidden in plain sight, right?
Yeah.
Like within this text. But okay, before we go too far down that rabbit hole, you were talking about manipulating prana through these specific breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of techniques are we even talking about here?
So the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it details a variety of pranayama techniques, and each one has like its own unique effects.
Okay.
For instance, it describes shitali, which is the cooling breath, and it's said to, reduce excess heat in the body, but also the mind.
So like having a whole toolkit for like adjusting your energy levels whenever you want.
Oh, exactly.
The text, it also mentions a practice called Shatkarma breath, and it supposedly increases your like attractiveness.
It does,
Yeah.
really. According to the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Shatkarma breath, it's said to enhance, your allure, your presence.
Okay, now that is interesting. And that actually brings us to the third pillar, mudra bandha. These sound a bit more mysterious. What are those exactly?
So think of mudras and bandhas as like subtle locks
Yeah.
or gestures that help to, direct and refine the flow of prana in the body. And they work, in conjunction with asana, with pranayama, to kind of further amplify their effects.
So we're talking about even more precise control over our internal energy.
Exactly. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika describes various mudras and bandhas, and each one is associated with very specific energetic effects. Take Mula Bandha, for example. It involves engaging muscles at the base of the spine,
Okay.
and it's said to awaken Kundalini energy.
Kundalini energy. That's
Yes.
one of those terms you just like hear whispered about, right? What can you tell us about that without, giving away too much of the mystery?
Yeah, so the concept of Kundalini energy, it's complex, it's multifaceted, it plays a really significant role in many different yogic traditions. In essence, Kundalini, it's often described as like this potent energy that's lying dormant within us. And certain practices like Mula Bandha, they're believed to help, awaken this energy
Mm-hmm.
and guide it upwards through this this central energy channel, the Sushumna Nadi,
Okay.
leading to, heightened states of awareness, spiritual awakening.
So it's not just about like physical well-being then. Hatha yoga seems to be really like deeply intertwined with mental and spiritual transformation as well.
Absolutely. And this is where we kind of delve into some of the more subtle yet really profound concepts within the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, concepts like bindu and nada anusantana.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. I love uncovering this stuff. Tell me more.
Okay, so bindu. It's often translated as point or drop, and it refers to this subtle essence within us that's believed to be the source of our like vitality or creativity, even consciousness itself.
Yeah.
And the text suggests that certain practices can help preserve, can help refine this precious essence.
So the more bindu we have, the more like vibrant and aware we become.
In essence, yes.
Yeah.
The Hatha Yoga Pradipika links bindu to longevity, to heightened awareness, even spiritual liberation.
Okay.
It's about, recognizing and nurturing that spark, that pure potential within.
That's a powerful concept. And what about nada anusantana? That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so nada anusandhana, it essentially means sound meditation, or the yoga of inner sound. And it's a practice that involves turning your attention inwards and listening to the subtle sounds that arise within the silence.
This is resonating. I've definitely had those moments where like things are really still and I can hear like a high-pitched hum in my ears. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
It could be. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it explains that by focusing on these internal sounds, we can quiet the mental chatter
Right.
and access deeper states of awareness, eventually leading to the experience of anahata nada, which is the unstruck sound, the sound of silence. And it's said to be profoundly transformative.
Wow. That's incredible. And speaking of sound, I'm thinking back to our discussion about the Shatkarma breath, where you inhale, you make this hissing sound. It's interesting how sound seems to play a role in a few of these Hatha Yoga practices.
You're picking up on a key theme here.
Yeah.
Sound is considered a really powerful tool for shifting consciousness
Yeah.
in various traditions, and Hatha Yoga is no exception. In fact, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it dedicates a significant portion to this practice of nada anusandhana,
Right.
highlighting its importance on the path of, self-realization.
It's amazing to see how all of these ancient practices, they're often viewed as like these separate techniques, but they're really all like interwoven. They're interconnected. It's like this text is revealing this whole, I don't know, like a symphony of all these practices that all play a role in, kind of awakening our full potential.
A beautiful analogy. And that actually brings us to another fascinating practice that's mentioned a little bit later in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's called Shambhavi Mudra.
Shambhavi mudra. Even just the name, it's got a certain ring to it.
It does, doesn't it? Shambhavi Mudra is considered to be a bit more of an advanced practice. It's often described as the gesture of the eyebrow center.
Okay.
And it involves the subtle focusing of the eyes and your attention, at that point, between the eyebrows. You know that spot that's often associated with like intuition and inner vision?
So it's like an internal gaze then, turning your attention like inwards instead of outwards.
Precisely. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika suggests that Shambhavi Mudra can help to really still the mind. And that can lead to, spontaneous meditation and these really profound states of inner peace.
It's amazing to me how all these practices, from the physical postures to the breath control, the energy locks, the internal gazes, it's like they all build on each other.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of guiding us towards like this greater self-awareness, this mastery.
Hit the nail on the head. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it's not just a random collection of techniques.
Right.
It's a systematic approach to unlocking our hidden potential, step by step, layer by layer.
And speaking of guidance, the text, it really emphasizes the importance of a guru, of having a qualified teacher. Why is that?
That's such a crucial point because the Hatha Yoga Pradipika clearly states that these practices, they're the most effective and the safest when they're learned under the guidance of, someone who has already traversed the path themselves.
So it's not just about like reading a book, it's about finding like a living embodiment of the teaching.
Exactly, because a true guru, they can provide that personalized instruction. They can address your specific needs, and help you navigate these really subtle nuances of the practices. And that ensures that you're progressing safely.
And it really makes you realize how, like, this wisdom, it's been passed down through generations, teacher to student, for centuries.
It's a lineage of knowledge, of experience that's so invaluable for anyone who is serious about really diving deep into this world.
So for our listeners who are, like, feeling inspired, what do they even do? Where did they even begin? Do they need to, like, book a one-way ticket to an ashram in the Himalayas or something?
While, a dedicated retreat, it can be incredibly transformative.
Right.
The journey, it really begins within.
Okay.
Start by cultivating your own self-awareness. Pay attention to your breath, your body, your thoughts, your emotions. Notice, how you feel after you practice certain asanas or pranayama techniques. Explore different teachers, different styles, and find what resonates for you.
It's about, like, listening to your own, like, inner wisdom.
Yes.
And finding that path that feels right for you.
Absolutely. And remember, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika emphasizes that this is a journey. This is not a destination. There's no need for perfection, just progress. Approach the practices with patience, with curiosity, with a sense of joy.
Because ultimately it's about, like, connecting with the inherent joy, the inherent potential that we all have within us. Right?
Beautifully said. Hatha Yoga at its core is a celebration of that human potential, the potential to live healthier, more vibrant, more fulfilling lives.
As we wrap up our deep dive here into the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, I hope you've gained a newfound appreciation for this ancient practice, and not just as a set of physical exercises, but as this really profound system for self-transformation.
Absolutely.
And maybe most importantly, I hope this deep dive has sparked like a curiosity in you to explore your own inner landscape and unlock that hidden potential that, that's waiting there.
It's there for all of us.
So keep exploring, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep listening to those whispers of wisdom that are arising from within. Until next time, happy diving.